ACCA 2021 Flying in Air Show. My name's Juan Brown. You're watching the Blancolirio channel. To interview with Jeff and Katie of
Father-Daughter Flights.
So Katie's going to record it, and we're going to do the recording with you over the PA. Right now we got some of the full throttle aircraft. All right, Jeff, so you got a brand new YouTube channel, and that's what it's all about here today. This is YouTubers creating aviation content and getting not only folks interested in aviation, but also folks interested into making YouTube videos about aviation. So tell me real briefly about your channel.
Well, we were at the ACCA event last year in Benton, and on the way home, as we pulled out of Wichita, Katie said, "Dad, can we have a YouTube channel?" I said, "Sure, I've got enough Gmail accounts, we can attach one." So by the time we got north about an hour, she had the idea, and she was working on a logo, which we just changed, because I'm now getting my pilot's license, and I'm flying high wings, and our original logo was a low wing, so we couldn't have that. But so Katie actually edited a video of our highlights from the ACCAs last year, and we put that up there. And then we had 2-3 videos and 9 subscribers, all of whom are related to us. And I started my private pilot training now. We're putting a few more videos, and Katie's Young Eagle flight, some other things are on the channel. And so we're just trying to create some content, and we're recording about everything here and trying to put a few videos out. So we're up to 15 subscribers now.
Great.
Mostly due to Jacob Hancock, Jay Pilots. Yeah, we're going to shout out to Jay Pilot. Yeah. So we asked you for a few minutes to do an interview.
Okay.
And I mean, it seems like everybody knows Juan Brown or Blanco Brown or whatever the combination of your name and your channel. And I saw the video where you explained how you got your channel name, because your wife is the real Blancolirio.
That's right. My Jenny, she's right here. She's from Spain, and she wanted to get on YouTube, and so she just made the name up, Blancolirio, late one night, White Lily, something from Spain. And then I kind of took over her YouTube channel and just started posting on it, and the rest, as they say, is history. And it's too late to change it now, and then it's something that people are actually looking for, a search item.
Exactly. Ken's over here giving us the business. So grateful for guys like Ken, all the volunteers, the tourism group here in the Sterling, Rock Falls area. Incredible event and people here today. So we're grateful for that. And so a couple questions for you, Juan.
Twist that speaker.
How did you first get involved in aviation? Because now as an ATP and all of the experience you have that people can learn about on your channel, and we'll link that wherever that is in this camera angle. But how did you first get started in aviation? I don't know if a lot of people have heard your early story.
Well, it started out like a lot of the young folks here, the kids. Thanks, that helped a lot. My dad was an aerospace engineer during the rocket ranch days of Aerojet General, the space race, and so he was in the aerospace business and got us kids involved with model airplanes at a very early age. We soon moved up to Grass Valley, California, and Dad got the idea of starting a gentleman farm, Christmas tree farm, which happened to be located on the downwind pattern for the local airport, Nevada County Airport. So in order to escape the drudgeries of the Christmas tree farm, my little brother and I would pedal our little bicycles up to the airport to see what was going on. Because at that airport, at that time, the main event was forest firefighting, and at that time in the 60s and 70s, the old aircraft they used were World War II bombers. So when the big fire broke out, it looked like World War II all over again. So we knew all the aircraft as kids, and we were fascinated, so we headed to the airport to see what was going on. Pretty soon, we just started spending all of our spare time at the airport in the day before gates and fences. And don't let those gates and fences stop you today. There's always a way to get through that fence and get onto the airport and just start learning.
That's an excellent message. I talked to Scott Perdue earlier. He said the way to learn to fly is to figure out that you want to and then keep chasing it. So after 55 years, I'm finally chasing it.
Good.
And I get to blame my daughter for her interest in aviation, as being the excuse and the reason my wife writes the checks for my flight training. So excited.
And Katie, how old are you now?
I'm 13.
That's the perfect age. I bought my first airplane when I was 15. It was a DCO-65 Taylorcraft, and soloed it on my 16th birthday and got my license when I was 17.
And that's still the process. Get that solo when you're 16 and get the license when you're 17. So when you went from being a kid just watching all those warbirds go off and fight forest fires, and then you started taking flight lessons at some time, was that right there at the Grass Valley local airport?
Yeah, I saved up enough money. We were hanging around the airport so much they eventually just put us to work there pumping gas. So get that first job there at the airport, pumping gas, parking airplanes, washing airplanes, and saved up $1,000 and bought that first Taylorcraft for $3,500. $1,000 down, $2,500 loan from mom and dad for about 12% interest at the time, and rounded up an instructor and started to learn how to fly that old Taylorcraft.
That's excellent. So one question we ask a lot of people is how many different aircraft have you flown, or how many type ratings do you have? And tell us a little bit about your professional career now, besides being a YouTube superstar.
Well, that's just started out for fun, and then now it's become a job. But I bought and sold a whole bunch of civilian airplanes. There at the local airport, it was getting hard to be able to consider how am I going to afford to get the ratings I need to get, and so the air tanker fire bomber pilots convinced me to go cut your hair, Brownie, and join ROTC. And so that's what I did. I went down to Sac State University. Well, the first thing I did after high school was got an airframe and power plant mechanics license.
There you go.
And that allowed me to work during the summers on airplanes. In fact, we worked restoring some of those old fire bombers back into warbirds. And then the guys convinced me to cut my hair, join ROTC. I went down to ROTC. They said, "Here, long hair, take this test. I doubt you'll pass." And it was the OQT, and the second half of that test was all about flying stuff. And I said, "Oh, this is easy."
Yeah.
Then they came back and said, "Go cut your hair, son. We got some papers for you to sign. Well, you got the best score we've seen all year on this test." And so that led to a pilot scholarship through ROTC, and then Air Force pilot training, class 8904, Williams Air Force Base, Arizona. By the time I got there, they said, "Brownie, you can talk and fly at the same time. We got a job for you." And I said, No, I'm fighters. I want F-16, F-15. No, sure enough, fate. First assignment, instructor pilot. So I was an instructor pilot in the T-37s after graduating the T-38 program. And that was a 3-year commitment, T-37s, followed by, "I'm still ready for that fighter assignment, sir." They said, "No, Brownie, you get your first available choice, a C-141 to Travis Air Force Base." Here comes the Lockheed Electric. Clear the deck. Lockheed Electric. 12 coming in. So C-141s flew all around the world in the C-141 doing strategic airlift. At the end of that, the 141, that'd be middle to mid-90s, the 141s were all used up, heading to the boneyard, and so there was no Guard or Reserve options. I went groveling up to the Nevada Air National Guard in Reno, Nevada, got on flying C-130s up there with the Guard, switching from strategic airlift to tactical airlift, which was a huge change in operational readiness and qualifications. A lot of work to stay current qualified in the C-130. Got on with the U.S. Forest Service after being turned down twice by United Airlines. Don't let that discourage you in your aviation career. If you're pursuing a career in the airlines, you may get turned down in an airline interview and you never understand why. Just keep applying to the other airlines and keep going. Make them tell you no, as C.W. Lemoyne says, and just keep trying. And then eventually American Airlines called, and I've been there for 23 years.
I knew there was a reason I didn't like United. There you go. Sorry, all you Chicago fans. Anyway, so you've got ATP, you've got all this experience, all this background. What's your favorite airplane?
Well, it depends. You need one, like motorcycles, you need one for every occasion.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So for aerobatics, I still prefer the Little Pitts Special. I had a Little Pitts S1C, raced it at Reno, and did some mildly competitive aerobatics. For airliner type aircraft, of all of them I've flown, because of the ups and downs of the industry, I ended up with a lot of different type ratings. I gotta say the Boeing 757 is by far my favorite aircraft there, followed by the Boeing 777. And then, of course, as a warbird aircraft, I just gotta say the P-51D out there. I mean, just look at it. It's just beautiful. So it depends on which category we're talking about. I got any number of favorites.
And I agree, the motorcycle thing, but you can only have 5 hobbies that cost everything you own multiple times.
That's right.
So we were talking a little bit about earlier, you kind of burst onto the YouTube scene after trickling around on it for a while when you made a report about the collapse of the Oroville Dam. And one of the unique things you get to do with your aircraft is fly over some of the natural disaster areas. Living in the area of California, you do, gives you plenty of content, I guess.
Yes.
Let's just say it that way and be nice. How do you think this thing launched so hard? That was a big story on a national level, and you're very intelligent and educated on the issue. What were the things you think that factored into your channel exploding when it did?
Well, first, a little background on that Oroville spillway failure. I was used to using real simple videoing technique with motorcycles. A GoPro and a cell phone, and that was it. So I took that Luscombe, opened the window, popped the GoPro out of the window of the Luscombe, and overflew the situation, then did a voiceover of what we were looking at. So in 10 or 15 minutes, I was able to explain what nobody else could seem to understand on the mainstream media of exactly what was going on at Oroville and what the different problems were. That one video kind of went viral. It shot up to 500,000 views really quick. And what amazed me was the comments in the comment section and all the questions that people had. So right away I knew I had to stick with this story and start answering these questions. It was a state of emergency, and this information wasn't getting out any other way. And I was far from an expert about Oroville at the time, but I was learning as I went along. I had some civil engineering background, and so by following the story, about 2 or 3 updates a week is what got that thing off the ground, and just covering the story with the facts only and keeping it simple and explaining it so that everybody can understand it seemed to be the secret formula.
That's a great example of just filling the need where you see people actually answer the questions that are being asked instead of answering the ones no one's asking and getting in over everyone's heads. So we're going to be doing the Stoll thing here, and I got just one final question because we'll know later whether your prediction is true or not. But if there was a betting pool, and there's not, who'd you put your money on today?
Okay, we got 2 very fierce competitors here. We got Corey Robin in Ghost, number 5, the Carbon Cup, the Silver Carbon Cup, but also today is Hal Stockman. Yeah, thank you.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah. Now, in that little Rotax powered aircraft, and there's another Rotax aircraft that's going to be competitive with Hal. Once Hal unloads his Lawnmower 3, which has got configured for cross-country flying right now, he'll probably do it. And if we got this much of a breeze, I bet you he can get that thing stopped in about the length of his aircraft.
It is incredible to watch, and we're looking forward to Oshkosh, obviously, in a couple of days, and seeing these guys up there and more. In fact, I got a message from Steve Henry, name dropping here since you're throwing out CW Lemoyne and others. You know, you can find a lot of stuff on YouTube. If you want to truly be entertained, just type in the search bar Stoll competitions or Stoll demos and see what these people can do. I mean, with the right wind and hot and humid today is going to be perfect for them. 5 and 10 foot takeoffs and 22 foot landings. If you're here today, you're in for a treat. So thanks for your time, Juan. It's been great talking to you. We love the fact that you're willing to spend a little time on our channel, and Blancolirio, it'll start to fill in your YouTube search bar. And thanks for being on Father-Daughter Flights. Can I use your line? We'll see you here.
See you here. That's right. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Katie. All right, enjoy the air show.